When other people start to see or think that, you know what are you doing? That's not a big deal. It is definitely time to take a break from minimalism. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. Today's minimalism video is going to be 10 signs you probably need to take a break from minimalism. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go! Woo! A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you want to help out my channel, you can consider checking out my Patreon, and if not, then just help this video out with the algorithm by giving it a thumbs up and a like. So let's get started. Number 1, nothing left to declutter. I think it's safe to say that it's time to take a break from minimalism if you've kind of gotten to a point where you're like, there's nothing left to declutter. That kind of happened to me in the middle of my minimalism journey, or I guess at the beginning of what I would consider my YouTube career. I had decluttered everything. I had nothing left to declutter, like next to no clothes, no more purses. I threw them all in the garbage. It was an absolute mess. I don't know what I was expecting to find at the bottom of minimalism decluttering rabbit hole, but I think at that point, like, it was safe to say that I should have taken a break from minimalism at that point. And I have seen a lot of people quit minimalism when they get to that stage, but I think sometimes we just need to take a break, step back, and be like, it's okay to have duplicates. I would actually also even suggest bringing things back into your life, or even bulking up some of the things that you own, so you can kind of be like that happy medium, not like swinging hard in the other direction, which is something that also happened to me. I went from owning very little to shopping binges, and it's just not a healthy way to live. All right, number 2, reorganizing causes anxiety. This is something that also happened to me. It was kind of like I got a neurotic tick where I was just constantly rearranging things in the guise of like cleaning and hoping that maybe I might find something new to declutter or something else to like minimize. It's just when you start to get into that realm, I think it's time to take a break from minimalism. If you're just reorganizing and you're causing yourself anxiety, whether you have anxiety so you reorganize, or reorganizing causes you anxiety, or you get triggered, I think it's okay to stop and take a break and find something else to do. Number 3, feeling empty. This is the one that you get when you kind of feel like you have nothing else to do, and minimalism has become everything about you, has become like your identity, and minimalizing and decluttering is like your thing and the thing that you do, and you just can't seem to disconcern yourself from your identity with minimalism. The emotional void starts to nag you, and it's definitely time to take a step back and do non-minimalistic things in your life. And by this I mean find something else to do that doesn't involve watching minimalism videos, or counting your stuff, or throwing perfectly good things in the trash or the donation bin and then feeling guilty and then going out and decluttering some more, or going out and buying more just to be able to declutter some more. The initial high of decluttering and that like clean feeling of emptiness is amazing, and we try to reoccur it, and like we end up going into a deficit when it's like, no, just stop. When you're starting to feel empty like that, that means that you now have the space in your life to add things back into your life. I think this is like part 2 of like minimalism. Step 1, declutter. Step 2, reintroduce. Number 4, you're feeling bored, you got no hobbies. That's something that definitely happened to me, and is actually something that I didn't really notice till literally this year in 2021. So I would say like this is my, I don't know, maybe going into my 6th year of minimalism. It took me 6 years of minimalism to realize that I need some new hobbies. As ashamed as I am to admit that, yeah, I definitely need some new hobbies outside of like organizing, outside of like Pinteresting, more minimalism and more zen and more. I was turning into a stone Buddha, which is one of the mistakes that happens with like living a certain lifestyle, is that like you get really disciplined and really practice at living a certain way, very stoic. But once you enter into the extreme end of something, then it's just not good. It's kind of like that stoic who like threw away his only possession, which was a bowl, because he saw that a begging child didn't even have one. So he's like, this bowl is holding me back. Yeah, if you find that like minimalism is like all that you have going for you in your life, it's like the only thing that you feel brings you joy, I think it's time to reintroduce some hobbies into your life, even if it's non-minimalistic type of hobbies. I know that like a lot of people categorize things as like these are minimal hobbies that you can have because they're non-material consuming, and these are honestly, at this point, any hobby to just get you out of the rut is a good hobby. Yeah, you have my approval. You can go shopping. It's fine. All right, number 5, crave adventure or change. This is something that I'm currently experiencing, actually. I think after having done minimalism in like different phases for really long durations of time, each phase lasting about like on average 3 years. So I've gone through about like, 2 phases, like the initial minimalism phase, which was 3 years, and then like the beige minimal cream aesthetic sort of, or more like stoic zen, which I'm kind of coming out of, and I'm actually kind of going more towards, I guess, what would be considered a more normal lifestyle. And that's because I'm craving adventure and I'm craving change. change. And I think that if you're in your minimalism journey and you're just not really vibing with it anymore, it's perfectly okay to take a break from it. You don't have to quit being a minimalist to try something different, try something new, or try something non-minimalistic. Minimalism is gonna look different for everybody, and sometimes we don't always have to be a good minimalist. Sometimes we can be messy, sometimes we can hoard, sometimes we can accumulate stuff. It's just like a pendulum swinging in both directions. Sometimes we have more and sometimes we have less, and if adventure calls you or more material things call you, go for it. Number 6, tired of lack of stuff. This definitely happened to me. I started to get a little bit anxious in the non-clutter, and I actually looked it up and looked at some of the dark sides of minimalism. Apparently, like, as the human brain, deprivation of the senses is actually like really bad for us. We don't thrive very well in that kind of environment for a very long period of time. We actually do need a lot of stimulation to feel mentally fulfilled. I know that it takes practice, you know, like monks and things like that, to like be in the void, but we still do need stimulation. And if you're feeling really tired or you're feeling very unmotivated in very starch conditions, very minimalistic conditions, it's time to take a break from that, because that's not good for your mental health either. You need to also be mentally stimulated. There was a study done on rats. Rats took more cocaine if they were left in an empty cage than if they were in a rat park, where they could have females or male companions. They could have sex, they could have food, they had toys, they had lots of stimulation, barely touched the cocaine. So it's the exact same thing with minimalism. You need to be mentally stimulated. If you're feeling really void and empty and dead in your like lab condition type of situations you've created for yourself, it's definitely time to take a break and reintroduce some stimulation back into your life. Number 7, craving material things or craving something material. This definitely happened to me, and I think it's extremely healthy to listen to this. We don't live in the spiritual realm. And I know this because I tried to be as zen and spiritual as I could. I didn't want to exist in the material realm anymore. But unfortunately, till the day that we die, we do live in a material world. And I think that there isn't anything wrong with it, cherishing and appreciating the material things that we do have in our lives. The most important thing is to be intentional with our stuff. So if you're craving something material, I think it's perfectly healthy to just examine it and understand where it's coming from. And if you feel that it's reasonable or it calls you, you can definitely indulge it. I think as long as you're being responsible, why not? You definitely shouldn't feel guilty that you're craving something material, especially if you're a minimalist. I know that it's easy to feel, you know, that minimalism guilt and stuff like that, but it's okay to take a break if you are craving material things, and it's okay to go for it as long as you know what you're doing. Number 8, you can't stop decluttering. This is one of the first videos that I ever made on YouTube, which was how to get rid or how to stop the decluttering obsession. That is something that happened to me. I decluttered everything that I owned to the point where I had to carry around my stuff in a plastic bag, or what little I owned in a plastic bag, and it was just utterly ridiculous, useless, and served no function whatsoever. So if you find yourself like being unable to declutter, I would recommend that video. You can just click my most popular videos, it's there. But essentially, it's time to take a break from minimalism if you can't stop decluttering, because that isn't the only thing about minimalism. There's other things to do with your minimalism. It's creating space for more intentional habits and things. And if you've gotten to the point where you can't stop decluttering, I think that is a definitely red flag. It is time to take a break, whether it be like a couple weeks, a month, or however long you need to cut that kind of habit. All right, number 9, starting to touch other people's stuff. So this is something that kind of happened to me in my minimalism journey. I ran out of things to do with my own stuff that I started to consider touching other people's stuff. If people don't want your help, you should not be touching other people's stuff. So what I recommend is if you feel really passionate about minimalism, you can offer your services up to those who do want it. Please don't go around decluttering your family's things. It's a lack of respect for their possessions and a lack of respect to them. So just don't do it. Just don't go there. Spare you and your loved ones that heartache. If you really want to keep decluttering and you don't want to take a break, well, first and foremost, you ought to be taking a break if this is happening. But let's say you don't. Leave them alone, your family and friends, and instead put your services up online or make videos on it, or just kind of go out there and help those that do want your help and spare the loved ones. All right, number 10, you've become obsessed with minimalism rules. This is something that had happened to me too. I tend to be very disciplined, so I tend to take rules as like the Bible, and I felt really trapped and really restricted and really like sad and depressed in my minimalism at some points, where I felt like I can't wear makeup because a minimalist don't wear makeup, and I can't have long hair, and I can't have brand name stuff, and I can't this and I can't that, and I can't whatever else that like the minimalism community tells you is the golden standards of minimalism. I want to be here to tell you that minimalism is different for everybody. Some person's minimalism is going to look completely and utterly different from somebody else. Minimalism is just a tool to help live your best life. So if you're feeling obsessed with the rules, it's time to break the rules and move outside of that. Shed your skin and figure out, you know what, this is not serving me and that's not serving me, because it's just a journey. So tweak it and experiment with new things. Just because something worked in the past does not necessarily mean it's going to continue working in the future. If it's just like not working out for you, like whatever rule is like bugging you, take a break from it. I think some rules that can be broken or should be broken under certain circumstances are, you know, like duplicates. I own duplicates of a lot of stuff, and at first it used to bug the hell out of me, and I think I got over this rule when I posted on the subreddit of minimalism, and a person was like, I need like psychiatric help, that I feel like I can't get my life together because I'm upset I own 2 sets of ear pods. So yeah, I think that when other people start to see or think that, you know what are you doing, that's not a big deal, it is definitely time to take a break from minimalism, or take a break from being obsessed over minimalism rules. Okay, so there we have it. Those are 10 signs that you probably need to take a break from minimalism, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!